And here we are. I'm glad we checked.
Oh my goodness.
Welcome back.
Isn't that funny? I did have that thought when we first started talking.
Did I hit record? We are back for another episode, experiencing many different challenges along the way, one of which we've just recorded almost half of this to realise that we didn't hit record, but here we are.
Here we are, we're back.
Welcome back, B, and we are welcomed with Katie Spackman.
Katie
is one of our amazings, and we will do the formalities first because no one at home has seen it. Warwick has not yet had the reminder, but we did an amazing surprise because this Sunday is Katie's birthday.
Yes.
So we have a bunch of flowers.
Shall I get them again?
If you could please be.
I'm scared that they're going to fall over.
We want to surprise Katie. We want to show everyone just how amazing Katie is, and we just it popped up in my calendar that it's Katie's birthday this week. So Katie, again, as surprised as you are, these are for you. We think you're amazing. You at home will get a snapshot of what Katie does and who Katie is in a moment. But happy birthday for Sunday.
Thank you.
As a mother of three, as someone who runs a household, and someone who's a wife and also serves her heart out. Sometimes these moments are overlooked, and I know that. I try and not forget from my wife, and I know you are probably spoiled at home because Warwick is an amazing man.
He is.
But happy birthday.
Thank you.
So we're going to get straight into it, and we're not going to rush, but we're just going to cover all the details because we want this podcast to help you at home feel more connected with your Nexus Kids team. We want you to know that Nexus Kids is this good because you serve. We couldn't do what we do here at Nexus Kids without each and every one of you.
Yeah, that's right.
So true.
So good.
But Katie, welcome. Thank you for joining us. Could you give us a quick snapshot about your life, where you grew up, how you met Warwick, and what brings you to be here today, please?
Sure. So I am a Brizzy girl, born and bred, and was born in the pews here at church.
Nexus.
At Northside and now Nexus. And I have been married to Warwick for 15 years.
Awesome.
And we met, he's a Rockhampton boy, so he came down while he was studying engineering to do a placement here, and I met him through youth and church and through some good friends. So
So good.
Yeah.
Fell in love, and the rest is starting to... I was going to say the rest is history, but it is. And it's, you know what I mean? And you've got a beautiful family now. You've got 3 kids. You've got Annie, you got Sam, and you got Ethan. And I love that so much. I'd love to not miss any details because we have been through all this, but just to touch on your faith journey. I say it so much that we hear so much about, I think a little bit too much, not too much, but a lot about those radical transformations of those people being saved out of a life of not walking with God with radical transformations, and so often are overlooked the stories like you both and my beautiful wife and people who have grown up in the church and have served God for many years, but you all carry just as powerful a story as we do, those who didn't grow up in church. So tell us a little bit, please, about your faith journey and how you came to your revelation of God and his plan.
Yeah, no, as you said, grew up in a beautiful Christian home and had the privilege of going to Sunday school and learning about the Bible and Jesus. And but it was really, come grade 8, that the real change happened in my heart, and I really gave my life to God. I think prior to that, while there was a lot of head belief, there wasn't that heart belief. And I think it showed up a bit in my attitudes and my view of life and friends and school. But it was in grade 8. I remember at a youth service in particular, I didn't go forward or put up my hand, but something significant happened in worship where I, for the first time, just lifted my hands right up. And that was a brave step, but it was a real act of surrender. And after that, there was a real a change in my life and in my attitude and in my perspective in life and the way I saw my friends and family and my love for God. So God did a wonderful work in my life and around when I was early teenager.
So good.
Saying the story of that moment in year 8 where you didn't necessarily receive the altar call by raising your hand at that point in the service, but it was in that personal time of worship where you did a physical act of surrender by raising your hands for the first time, and then that shift in you happening reminded me of that first time I raised my hands, because it was such a significant act. And I'm a big fan of raising a hand when you're led to, or standing to pray, and getting into a space, and a physical space, like on your knees to pray. For me, still to this day, is currently such a great act. But I'm a big believer in physically getting into a position where you can receive and surrender and give it to God and connect with Him. And I love it, which is awesome. Moving from your life and your faith journey to more of your service here at Nexus Kids, can you tell us a little bit of where you started serving in Nexus Kids, where your focus has been for the last few years?
Sure.
But as well as that, could you also touch on what you're doing now, especially in the mainly music space?
Sure.
That'd be great to know.
Yeah. So I started really serving at Nexus Kids when Annie was a little bub, and there was the invitation to join Creche, and it seemed like a very natural and easy way to serve. So that's where I started, and I sort of moved up as my kids moved up, but I've stayed in the last couple of years in sort of the younger under fives area, and that's what the area that I really love. I love those little kids, and
you're an absolute. I remember I said it in the first ep, and something I'll say again. But you are an absolute wealth of knowledge. Your skills with the children is an absolute gift from God. You're really good at it, and I think being able to know that and focus on the age group in which you best connect with, which is those preschool aged, is an absolute blessing to just watch and observe. So thank you for all that you do.
Oh, no, it's a pleasure.
Yeah. But the mainly music is another space in which is close to your heart.
Definitely.
Yeah.
So, mainly music started back at Nexus about 9 years ago.
Awesome.
So that's when I came on team and didn't really know anything about mainly music. But as you said, it's something that I really love and am passionate about. So mainly music, we operate midweek on a Wednesday morning. It is a music session for parents and their children under the preschool or under the age of 5 that come along. And so we have music, and then we have playtime and share morning tea together. But it's more than music. There's, the heart of mainly music is to reach out to families within the community. So we do get a lot of families just from our local community that can come along. And I love that, we do lots of fun rhymes and fun songs, but there's a lot of God songs, and we try and, bring encouraging thoughts and for those families, and it's a point of connection too for the families as well.
A light in the community, I think, for so many. Yeah, and it's something that we have such a great turnout for. There's always waiting lists for, as we have a capacity that we can take, but a program that is also run so well by yourself and Carlene and all of those in the past that have run mainly music. I can think of Gemma and all the crew, but it's without you guys and the team that we don't have that light in the community. So I love it. But you're moving into, I think COVID's changed things a little bit for you, but focusing on running, I think, your own mainly music program. Is that correct in what you're doing?
Yeah, so an opportunity arose. It was probably about 2 or 3 years ago that it started. That mainly music also have a vulnerable communities to their organisation, where they do mainly music sessions for families in different areas that may not be able to access, a normal mainly music for whatever reason.
Right.
And just in recent months, we've just started a group in a local women's correctional facility.
Wow, that's outstanding.
Which COVID has affected that, but we've been able to start in the last 2 months.
Yeah.
And it's been a really
great.
That's so
going
great.
in to, I guess, minister and connect with mums and their kids in that facility.
That's right. So
Yeah.
it's, you know, it's a really special opportunity, and I thank God for this open door, and excited about what He has in store
I love that.
for this group and for these mums and children, and already I've been really warmly received, so that's been really encouraging.
That is,
yeah.
must be. And I love it. And I know it's not the end, I guess. Like you said, the door's just opened, and COVID put a hold to things. But I continually think of and pray for you guys in what you're doing out there.
Thanks.
But it's a good bring hope to that community.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's so cool. Yeah.
So the next question, middle question,
Yeah,
the why.
I guess,
Go B.
No, I was going to say, I guess that leads us to sort of the why behind you serve, both at Manly Music and Nexus Kids. You know, what is it that, you know, you turn up and help out? And
Share us a little bit about the why behind what you do.
There's a few whys. I guess, you know, there's that verse, I think it's in Colossians, that says, whatever you do, do it unto the Lord. So, you know, it's a privilege to serve. And, you know, I totally believe that God calls each member of the church and the body of Christ to serve in different ways, obviously. But this is something that I have felt a real calling to and a love for. And so, that's why I do it, because I do it unto the Lord, and because, you know, it's something that I enjoy.
That's great. I love that.
And I guess, you know, as well, just having grown up in the church, I just... and in Sunday school and youth, you know, I can identify a couple of really key leaders of that time that had a real influence and impact on me. You know, I can shout out to the Flats and the Jorgensons and Judy Parker, and you know, I'm really thankful for those people in my life that were that influence. And I think, you know, wouldn't it be special if I can have that influence on children now?
So, I love that. That's a theme that that I guess I never really have thought about a lot, but it keeps coming up. And James mentioned, you know, John Faulkner, he always says it, you know, in a few years, if I'm sitting upstairs and someone comes up to me and he's like, oh, John, you know, I used to love you. I love you. You helped me out in kids' church, et cetera, et cetera. And it keeps coming up. And I guess it's, again, another encouragement that we can never underestimate what these kids are watching, what they're absorbing, part of their
moments. And all those moments, and we just need to trust that what we're doing is the right thing for the right time, but all those moments will lead to them hopefully one day having a real encounter and choosing Jesus as an adult.
I love that.
It is so good. You've been serving for years. You've served in a lot of different capacities. Do you have any stories? We'd love to hear a story from you, whether it be a funny one, maybe your kid's done something super funny and it's cracked you up, or it's been a moment where you've had a conversation and something's clicked.
Could you share and fuzzy.
Any moments with us?
Look, I've got probably two things. I love that young age of just the randomness of kids and their, you know, responses, and when you're doing kids' stories. And so they just crack me up every week, to be honest. You know, I think earlier in the year we were doing Fruit of the Spirit and talking about Fruit of the Spirit, and a kid puts up their hand and, you know, wants to talk about their uncle's pineapple farm. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, like, so precious.
It's just all those funny random things that just make you laugh. So, you know,
it's true.
Sometimes you think, where
do I take that?
Like you said, there are so many stories, and the kids said to me in a Fruit of the Spirit conversation one time, I got a grape stuck up my nose, and that's just where it went in his head. But
that's so good.
I love it.
You can never expect it. You can never plan it.
I don't know if we've mentioned, but Katie, you do our Sprouts and Rockets. Is that right? Yeah. So that's a common thing in your age group. Is that tangentness?
True.
Unrelated. I love that. That's so good.
Bring it back to
you got to
Jesus,
go with it.
but that's
That's right.
Well, Jesus made for farms and pineapples, so that's so good.
John 15, Father's the gardener. That's so good.
Nice work.
I love that.
But there was another lovely story which really just touched my heart, and there was a little girl that I got to know well, both that came along both to Manly Music and to Nexus Kids, and I think she probably would have been maybe 4 at the time, and I bumped into her and her mum, and her mum sort of stopped me and she said, I've got something for you, and she pulled out of her handbag a chocolate bar.
Wow.
And she said, we were at the shops, and her daughter had said, Mum, we need to buy this for Katie to give it to her.
Yes.
And that just made my day. Like I thought, how special that this little 4-year-old is at the shops and not actually saying, Mum, I want the chocolate.
Yeah.
This is for me. Like that, even as a 4-year-old, like that generosity
back on others.
of heart that she
Yeah.
actually thought of me and thought, this person's special to me, I'd like to give a gift. I just thought that's so amazing to see what God's doing in her heart. But then also just just that special moment of thinking, I've had an impact on this little girl, and that she wants to give me a gift. And so that was just really special.
So good.
I
love that.
So,
I came up with one where we are trying to encourage. Well, our aim is to encourage our leaders and to give them tips.
Better equipped.
Yeah, things that I don't know, and James knows things that you don't know, and it's sort of full circle. But I guess and sort of that last story that you shared about that little girl wanting to get the chocolate bar for you shows your ability to develop a relationship with the child and make them feel comfortable and, this is somewhere they want to be. And I guess specifically in the Sprouts and Rockets age group, it's more of a bigger problem than our primes and legends. But you'll get kids who maybe the first time to kids church or they're just not familiar with the surroundings and they just don't want to separate from mum or dad. And they're crying, they're hiding behind mum, there's tears and mum's sort of overwhelmed as well. And it can get a little bit intense and not sure how to navigate it. But I guess any tips that you have or anything that you do to sort of help in that situation and sort of calm both mum and the child and also encourage that child to come into kids' church with you to then be able to release mum.
Yeah, sure. Look, I think every situation is different, isn't it? And you have to sort of read the situation. But I think some of the tips I'd give is just being able to get down to the child's eye level I guess reading the child, but speaking, really kindly and calmly and then I guess looking at the child and seeing is there anything that we can is there any obvious interest that this child might have? So looking at, what's on their shirt, what's on their dress, what can we talk about that seems like it might be special to this little person. So whether it's talking about what's on their shirt or...
Yes, you're bang on. Sorry, I'm just going to take notes. But you're right.
Yeah, so trying to find that immediate interest there that might be a distractor for them. And then otherwise, if you're able, then, taking the child by the hand and going for a little walk, or whether it be you need to cuddle them and go for a walk. But then... I often will sing a song because that's just
good.
Me.
It works.
Or just finding things in the room or in the outside that we can talk about and look at and start asking questions about. So just trying
I love that.
Some distraction and
that's great, Katie. They are practical. James is writing them all down because they are practical. They're practical steps that we can follow. And I guess even for me, I know when I'm in the kindy and I'm like, okay, I don't know what to do.
That's right.
But that was great. Yeah,
and distractions is a big one, and I think. It's a word they're like, but we don't want to distract them from their emotions. And it's not that we're ignoring their emotions, but I think the word I'm putting in is the redirection of their attention.
100%.
That's a better
word. 100%.
But I use distraction a lot, and it is a key, and I'll write it down and pump through it. But direction, handwriting and me don't mix, but I can read it.
That's so good.
Absolute banging response. Such a good response. I loved it.
That's so good.
And... awesome. Sorry. I'm just like, yes.
And I think
to recap those,
and even as a mum that had a child that had trouble separating, just giving that reassurance to parents that, if your child remains really upset, please, we'll let you know.
I love that. That's a good point.
And that way you can feel settled that they will let, okay, they haven't called me, it's 10 minutes.
Yeah. It must be going fine.
It must be okay. So just giving that reassurance to parents that...
I love that. That's good. Yeah, because I think too often we forget we're so focused on settling the child that poor mum or dad is in also a little bit of a... Because obviously they hate to see, the little one upset. And so I think that's a really good reminder that we can always say to parents, look, if it's still a problem, we'll give you a call. You can come on down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So good. Quick game.
Sure.
Quick game.
You can play this time.
I'll play this time. You got some categories, you think through them, but we're going to play a quick game. It literally takes like 10 seconds.
I've got one. Let me write it down so I don't forget.
10 seconds.
Okay.
You'll get a letter.
Okay.
And then you have to name 3 things.
Okay.
So, for example, I don't know what Bianca's writing, and it may totally stitch her up, but if I was to say one that I always use, are you going to use it?
No, I picked 2 that you haven't used.
Good. So I always use the supermarket. So in 10 seconds, with the letter J for James, name 3 things you'll find in a supermarket.
Okay.
And then she'll count, and then we have to answer 3
That's
things.
actually an easy way to do it. We should just use the first letter of people's names.
Yeah, it depends on what the category is, though. Like,
Doesn't matter.
okay, fine. Go hard then.
All right.
But we're going to play.
Oh, actually, I'm looking at my categories now, and that might be just a little bit
You
hard.
can choose a letter.
You're looking at them, James.
I'll go
I
first.
literally just saw the side eye looking at them.
I'll tell the truth, and I didn't.
Okay, James.
I'm so ready.
I'm going to give you the letter J because I feel like, I feel like it's easy. I don't know. I always feel like my categories are too hard.
Jam,
Okay,
jump,
you have 5 seconds.
juice.
5 seconds? Are we doing 5?
10.
10
All right,
seconds.
5's good.
Okay, 5 seconds.
Oh, under the pump.
3 things, starting with the letter J, that you would find at a sports game.
Oh.
1,
Juice.
2,
Jumping.
3, 4.
I got nothing.
Jersey.
Jersey. Oh, of course.
Jacket.
Of course.
I'm thinking like sports game, like
Juice,
big
juice,
stadium,
juice.
like you go to the Gabba and yeah.
All I was thinking was the ones that I said prior to this. when I
Yeah,
just
jelly
try and-
jam.
Yeah, jelly
I'm
jam.
sure there's a peanut butter and jelly sandwich going around somewhere.
Must be.
Wow.
All right,
Oh,
Katie,
no pressure.
I've got yours. Starting with the letter C,
Okay.
I need 3 things
C.
in 5 seconds that you would find when you are driving on the highway. 1,
Car.
2,
Crash.
3,
And
4, 5.
That's all I got too.
Cloud.
Oh, clouds. Oh,
Yeah.
oh,
So my categories are good. James is like Woolworths.
Can you write some of them down? That's good. Yeah, we'll
That's
take,
good stuff.
Take note for next time.
Yeah.
That brings us to the end of yet another amazing podcast.
Yeah, so
I'm
good.
continuously blown away. And I hope that I am
Same.
always, because I've
Yeah.
loved getting to know our team. I love the fact that we can hopefully extend that to you guys, that you're feeling more connected with your Nexus Kids team.
Yeah.
Because we want you to know that Nexus Kids is this good because you serve.
That's right. Yeah.
Takeaways.
So good. My takeaway, do you want me to go first
You
this
can
time?
go. Yeah.
All right.
I've got a couple, so we do takeaways.
Yeah. I was thinking we probably explain to Katie what we're doing. She's like, I liked really when you said, you're talking about when you first started serving here, and you said you started serving in the creche when Annie was a bub. But
an
the
important ministry.
wording that you used was because it was easy and natural. And I really love that idea of serving needs to be something that's natural for you. It's easy for you. Why do you want to serve if it's like grinding gears every time?
That's
like
right.
this is not where I want to be. This is not fun. This is really hard for me to do. And so I liked that wording that you used. It was easy and natural, and it was a good place to start.
I think as the leader, I will say that there are things that you may be asked to do last minute to fill a spot, to cover a
of
position.
course, yeah.
It may feel a little bit more unnatural, but you are just as valuable in that spot.
Yeah.
It's
overall,
in
like
the most part.
Yeah.
Yeah. We do want it to be.
Yeah.
And we know that when it's not natural, it's not going to be setting you up for success.
But then that's also where we can assist, making it easy, resourcing our leaders,
True.
getting
Supporting.
the stuff that you need, supporting you in the room. Yeah.
questions that we can answer here to help you.
Yes. The one we covered today that is a key one, I think, for some people. It's so good.
My takeaways. In our first take, which wasn't recorded, you did mention something that I want to encourage like 80% of the people that watch this podcast, which is that in your Christian journey and you discovering faith for Katie, you mentioned the importance of having beautiful, significant parents as like role models in your life.
Yeah.
And I know that there's many, I'm going to cry, but there's so many of you guys out there that are serving your family through being a mother or a father,
100%,
serving the church and being a key volunteer. But it's a shout out and encouragement to you in the role that you're playing in the faith journey of your child. That it is the most significant role. We are here to support you, but you carry that role. And we have living examples of that that role
Yeah.
model sitting at this table. So keep up the good work, and it does.
And you are incredible. Yeah.
It does get hard.
Yeah.
It sucks some days, but you guys can do it, and God is there. We are here to help you. I loved that. I loved
So
the 4
good.
takeaways, which I will cover
Yes.
with how to best get a kid to come into your service, which is get down to their level. Number
Yeah,
one, right?
number
Get
one.
down to their level.
Yeah.
Speak calm. Speak in a calm voice. When I think of
Yeah.
Katie, I think of sweet,
Oh,
calm,
yeah.
peaceful. That's literally
Yeah.
everything that Katie carries every day.
Yes.
And I also, the third one was find something that is interesting.
Yeah.
I say this to everyone, the
Yeah.
junior leaders, as they come through, I look what they're wearing. Is it a sparkly?
It's normally a Frozen dress. Yeah.
Is it a sequin shirt?
Yeah.
Is it a tiara on their head? Is it Lightning
Yeah.
McQueen on their shoes? But
Yeah.
as soon as you can say,
Yeah.
whoa, hello, Lightning McQueen, boom, barriers
Yeah,
are broken.
you've got them. Yeah.
And then that distraction or that redirection
Yeah.
of focus,
I
which is
love
a big
that.
one. Bring
That's
them
key.
in.
Yeah.
Do not say that like it's not okay for them to be upset, because their emotions are real. They need to process those emotions, but it's your job to assist the parents in the redirection of their focus.
Yeah.
And then that's flowed
so
on
good.
to reassuring the parents throughout the morning that they are okay, that they will be fine. We'll
Yeah.
let you know if
No
they
one's
won't
being
be
held
fine.
against their will. Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
Katie, thank you for
So
joining
good.
us.
Yeah.
A very big happy birthday for Sunday from
Yes.
our Nexus Kids fam.
Yeah.
But for today's episode, for now, we want to say big love. We want to say goodbye, and we'll see you for the next step. But
Yeah.
see ya.
See ya.
Bye.
Thank you.